Hello, in this video I'm gonna show you the first things that I recommend doing after setting up your Google Pixel 9a. Once your Pixel has been set up, there are a few things that you should start with to ensure a smooth usage of your phone, and also to ensure it runs securely and to enhance your experience. So the first thing is connecting to Wi-Fi. I know that probably you already have done that, but if you haven't, then in settings go to network and internet, and I have my mobile data connected, but I will use Wi-Fi because I don't want to use my mobile data since it has a limited plan, and I will need some internet in a moment. So let's just select a Wi-Fi network to connect to, maybe not this one but this one, and enter its password. And if it was entered correctly, then it should say connected right here and display the Wi-Fi symbol on the status bar at the very top. Now, once that's done, you should go to the system updates. Updating your system is very important to ensure that your phone runs smoothly, securely, and has the newest features. So let's scroll all the way down, almost all the way down, and find system. Then software updates and system update. It says that my system is up to date, but if yours is not, it'll give you a button to download and install. First, it'll start downloading and you can continue using your phone in the process, but later on, it'll prompt you to restart your phone, and you just need to restart it or schedule it to restart at night. And after the restart, the update will be applied. Now, let's go to signing in to Google account. If you have done that, then skip to the next step, but if you haven't or don't know if you have, then go to passwords, passkeys, and accounts in settings, and if under accounts for owner there is no Google account, click on add account, then Google. And now I'm gonna go ahead and enter my email. If you don't have an account, click on create account here. Then just click on next and enter the password, which I'm gonna do off camera. And now it'll ask you who will be using this device, either you or your child. If you select your child, then the further steps may vary, but most probably you will be using it. So let's just click on next. Now you need to agree to the Google Terms of Service. Without that, you can't continue with adding the account. And now I'm gonna select the backup to be enabled. It is up to you, but I think it's better to have the backup enabled so you don't lose your data in case anything happens to your phone. So let's just accept that. Now, once that's done, we can go to the Play Store. I'm just gonna click on get started, and you can select whether you want to verify your purchases with password, with a Google account password, or with biometrics. I don't have biometrics set up just yet. I'm gonna show you that in a moment. So let's just use the password now. And now I'm in, so let's click on the profile icon in top right corner. It has crashed, but it's normal because I just finished setting up the phone a moment ago and just connected to the Wi-Fi for the first time a moment ago. So it just is updating the Play Store. So I'm gonna wait a few seconds, then go to the Play Store, and here we're gonna go ahead and update the apps that we have on the phone. It is important to update the apps for the very same reason as updating your system, but also some apps just won't work without an update. So let's go to the Play Store. I'm gonna skip this additional apps, then click on the profile icon top right corner, manage apps and device, updates available. You can see I have 44 updates available, so I'm gonna update all. Now let's get to the settings. I said that I don't have biometrics set up just yet. I actually don't have a screen lock set even, so it is pretty crucial to have a screen lock. so no one else besides you has access to your phone. But you can also set the biometric, which is the fingerprint, so you can unlock your phone faster and more conveniently. So in the security and privacy, in settings, go to device unlock. Then if screen lock says swipe or none, then I highly recommend setting it to pattern, pin or password depending on your preference. But before we do that, you need to know that in case you forget that screen lock, then there will be no other way to restore your phone than to erase all its data. If you erase all its data, then you'll just lose anything. Please make sure that you will remember your screen lock, but I think it's still worth having one, like I said, so no one else has access. And I'm gonna select the pattern, then I'm gonna draw it, click on next and redraw it, and confirm that. Then select what will happen with the lock screen notifications, and I'm gonna select the show screen sensitive content only when unlocked. I think this is the best option that you can set. Then click on done, and then there is the face and fingerprint unlock, and I'm gonna enter my screen lock. Then I'm gonna set the fingerprint unlock first, and then I'm gonna talk a bit about the face unlock. So in the fingerprint unlock, just click on more, agree, start, and place your finger on the fingerprint sensor, which is under the screen, and it may not work with some screen protectors. You can try it out, but if it doesn't work, maybe it's your screen protector's fault, because this phone has an ultrasonic fingerprint sensor, which is better because it is more secure, but unfortunately doesn't work with some screen protectors. Just tap and release several times. Remember to move your finger between each scan so it scans the whole area of your fingerprint. In my case, it goes without any problem since I don't have a screen protector on. Also, if you set it up without the screen protector, then put it on, it also may not work. You can also add another fingerprint and click on done. Then the face unlock, I don't recommend setting it up because on this phone it only bases on the camera. There are phones on the market that base on IR sensors, but this one only bases on the camera, which means that it can be unlocked with a photo of you or by someone who looks similar to you. So I really don't recommend it, but if you really need to do it, you can just set it up. You just need to look at the camera for a moment, it'll be set up. Now I'm gonna show you both ways of unlocking your phone. So with the fingerprint sensor, you just need to tap in the correct spot. It doesn't matter if the screen is on or off, you just need to know the correct spot and it'll unlock it. Yeah, but unfortunately I don't know the spot. You can also just tap on the screen so you know where the sensor is. I'm gonna try to locate it. No, actually it doesn't. I think it doesn't work with the screen off. Yeah, you just need to tap, then tap on the fingerprint sensor and it's done. Or if the always on display is on, if you raise your phone, then it'll also work. And now and to unlock with the screen lock, you just need to swipe up, then enter that. And now let's get to the next part, which is setting up Google Pay. So just find the Google Wallet, or if you don't have it, just like me, go to the Play Store. I'm gonna go back and go to the search, then search for Google Wallet. And click on install. And by the way, that's exactly how you install apps on this phone. So now once it's updated, you can go into that. Wait a moment, then click on allow, add to wallet, payment card, and you can just enter the details of your credit or debit card. Of course, if you don't want to, then you don't need to get that app, but it'll help you to it'll let you enable that option which is tap to pay, so you can use your phone to tap to pay without reaching out to your wallet. And in order to pay with it, you need to have the credit or debit card added first, then confirm with your bank via message, phone call, or a bank app. And later on, whenever your phone is unlocked and the wallet app's opened, which by the way I think you can also open by sliding down from the top of your screen twice, then you'll see the wallet. No, I didn't mean to turn on the airplane mode. So you can tap on the wallet, then it'll open the wallet app. I'm not really sure if you need to select the card or it'll just be on, but maybe you just need to click on a card here, which one you want to pay with, and tap your phone to the reader. And don't worry, it is secure because it is bank authorized and it's provided by Google, so it's not some sort of a scam. Then now let's get to changing the wallpaper. I know a lot of people do change their wallpapers, so you can set something provided by Pixel, because there will be some wallpapers that are provided by Google in the settings, but I think the best ones are your personal ones. So you can download some pictures from the internet. You might have transferred your pictures from the previous device, so you can also use them or take a picture now. I'm gonna take a picture now because I don't think I have any photos right now. Yeah, it's not the best photo, but I'm gonna try setting it. Let's just go to settings, then wallpaper and style, and now you can set it for either lock screen or home screen depending on which one you actually want to set. So I'm just gonna click on more wallpapers. You can see different wallpapers from Google here, but I'm gonna select my photos, then allow all access to the photo gallery. Let's try again. Camera, this photo, okay, and now I can see how it'll look on the lock screen and how it'll look on the home screen. So you can tap to edit the photo by adjusting its position and stuff. I think it's not the worst one, not the worst one. You can also click on that. It'll turn on some 3D and motion effects. Let's try that out, why not? Yeah, or maybe not, because it takes quite a long time. Or no, actually, I can enable it, so it'll just process it and enable some effects, whatever it means. Yeah, and this is just a bit animated. I think it doesn't look too bad, not even half bad. So yeah, I think I like it. It's not also, yeah, it's not the best because it has distorted some items, but I think I like it. Let's just set it. You can set it to either lock screen or home screen. I'm gonna only set it to the lock screen, then click on set. And once it's set, you can also customize the clock. So you can, for example, change the clock to that, or just click on clock. But I don't know why on the preview it's this, not my wallpaper. Let's see if it has changed. It hasn't, so let's try. No, it says it's set, so I'm just gonna try looking at it. Yeah, it should work, honestly. Let's try going to the settings again, wallpaper and style. Yeah. It just... Yeah, and now it works, so I just had to like set it to a different one, then go back to the one that I wanted. As you can see, I can set different clocks, as I said. I think I really like this one, but you can also change the colors on the wallpaper and colors of the clock. So let's set a color of the clock to something maybe not that vibrant, but I think I can also change its brightness here, or maybe not. Yeah, never mind. Let's just set it to that, then go back, and now it's set. So let's see if it works. Yes, it does. And now I think that's it. This phone doesn't come with any bloatware whatsoever. These are all the apps that are on this phone, so it is really great. And yeah, the last thing that you can do is finish setting up your device. You'll get this notification probably right after the setup. It's great to just finish it now so you're not bothered later. And at first it'll ask you if you want to set up using another device to copy settings, accounts, data, files, apps and whatever from your another phone or tablet. So if you do, then select either of those options and do that now, because later if you skip it now, then it may become unavailable. Because it's not available through the settings, you can only use it if it asks you to do it during the setup or post setup process. So if you skip it now, then there's a chance you will be asked again one more time, but it's not 100% chance. And of course you can copy apps and data from another device using third-party apps, but I think it's the best to do it with the native method, because it will just work without any problems and will copy probably the most data that it can. So I'm gonna skip it because I don't have any device to copy it from, but if you have, then just follow the instructions on the screen. They are gonna be pretty intuitive. Then I'm gonna confirm my pattern for some reason, and it asks me to set up the face unlock, but how I said, I don't like it, and I'm gonna click on no now. Then this is the last time I'm asked about copying apps and data. Then I think it's only asked in the European Union, but I'm not sure it's that to choose your default browser and search engine. So if you don't know which ones to choose, I'm gonna recommend a few. The Firefox, the Opera, Brave, and Chrome are my all-time favorites. I usually select the Chrome just because it's the most default thing for Android, but these are the ones that I recommend, but feel free to choose whichever one you'd like to try out. Then the search engine, the only one that I like is the Google. The other ones I find not as effective. Then just click on next. More. You can use Gemini or not now, depending on your preference. The Gemini is your AI assistant. Then it asks you about the Google Wallet if you haven't set it up. So I've already talked about it. I'm gonna click on no thanks because I don't want any emails. Now it asks you if you want to set up a few more things at the end. I'm just gonna click on done, and now I'm all set up. That's all for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.
Hello and welcome back to HardReset.Info. In this video I will show you how to show or hide caller ID on Google Pixel 9a. Let's begin! First, head to your phone application and then click three dots in the top right corner. Then click Settings, and right at the top of the settings we can see Assistive, Caller ID and Spam. We can click it, and once again at the very top we see caller and Spam ID, identify business and spam numbers. We can disable that just hitting this toggle right here, or we can enable it and our show caller ID is now on. We can additionally enable filter spam calls, which is pretty handy option. I would advise you to enable it if you have trouble with spam calls. But yeah, that's all for this video. If you found it useful, please remember to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.
In front of me is Google Pixel 9a, and today I would like to show you how you can download and apply animated live wallpaper called Magic Flow Ads. Begin by opening Play Store and downloading free app called Magic Fluid Slide Fluid Sim from Mad Scientist. When it's ready, launch it, and to mute the music, click at the bottom left corner. Then choose Consent. Click at the top left corner and operate all of those options however you want to. When you finish, hit top right corner and bottom right corner. Select Set a Safe Wallpaper, hit Yes, tap on Set Wallpaper, and decide where. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. Bye!
Hello and welcome back to HardReset.Info. In this video I will show you how to enable power saving mode on Google Pixel 9a. Let's begin! So first of all we want to go to the settings, and now let us scroll down until we should see the battery option right here. We want to click it. And now, as you can see, we have the ability to activate our battery saver. We can also set it to the extreme, but that's only for extreme lads out there. So let's keep that standard version and let's activate it just like that. And now we have our power saving mode enabled. If you want to disable it, all we have to do is simply click it and disable it just like that. Anyway, that's all for this video. If you found it useful, please remember to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.
In front of me is Google Pixel 9a, and today I would like to show you how you can change sleep time to never. First of all, you need to open Play Store and download free app called Caffeine Keep Screen On. When it's ready, launch it. Then hit OK in Welcome pop-up. Go into Tab menu and edit it. To do that, click on this little pen at the bottom right corner. Scroll all the way down. Look for Caffeine shortcut and add it to your current ones by holding it, dragging it to the top, and placing it wherever you want to. Click at the top left corner and tap on your new shortcut to turn it on or off. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, comment and subscribe. Bye! In front of me is Google Pixel 9a, and today I would like to show you how you can apply Apple layout on this Android. Begin by opening Play Store and downloading free app called LauncherOS from Launcher Studio. When it's ready, go into Devices Settings and tap on Apps. Now scroll down a tiny bit to hit Default Apps and tap on Home App here. Then choose Launcher Pro and hit Allow All. As you can see, after a couple of seconds, my layout was successfully applied. To make some changes, go into Launcher app. If you want to go back to your default launcher, you can always do that by going back to default home app settings and hitting Pixel Launcher. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, comment and subscribe. Bye!
Hello and welcome back to HardReset.Info. In this video I will show you how to enable call waiting on Google Pixel 9a. Let's begin! First, head to your phone application. Then go to three dots in the top right corner. That is not three dots, this is three dots. And then head to the settings. In the settings, go to calling accounts and choose your service provider from your SIM card. For me, I only have one SIM card and I only have one service provider, that being Play. It shouldn't really change depending on your service provider, like the settings should relatively stay the same, but you should see additional settings. Head to them, and in the head settings, we can see call waiting. During a call, notify me of incoming calls. So we can just hit enable. Now it will update the settings, and we will get a notification of incoming calls when we are on other call. And yeah, that's all for this video. If you found it useful, please remember to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Hello and welcome back to HardReset.Info. In this video I will show you how to make your phone number private on Google Pixel 9a. Let's begin. It's a little bit tricky, but I bet you can do it. First of all, go to your phone application. Then click those three dots in the top right corner and go into the settings. Here you want to click calling accounts, and inside of here we can choose our service from our SIM card. As you can see, I'm currently in a service called Play, so I'm going to click it, and here we have few settings. I don't think they should really change depending on your service provider, but you should be able to see something like additional settings. At least that's how I see it. So I'm going to click additional settings, and then I want to go to caller ID. So as you can see here, it says that use default operator settings to display my number in outgoing calls, meaning that whenever I will go and click hide number, our number will be hidden in outgoing calls, meaning that our phone number will be private and no one will ever know who we are. Crazy, right? Anyway, that's all for this video. If you found it useful, please remember to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Hello and welcome back to HardReset.Info. In this video I will show you how to add or remove Google account on Google Pixel 9a. Let's begin. First we want to go to the settings. In the settings we want to scroll down a little. Actually we don't. Okay, never mind. We don't have to scroll at all. We want to go to Google Services right at the top. Then we want to hit sign in. It will check the info, and now we can insert our email. So for me it's something like that. And fun fact, you don't have to manually input gmail.com as it will input it automatically. And now you have to input your password. So I will take the phone now and I will input my password. So just like that. Oh, actually that was wrong password, never mind. Okay, so now after you have inputted your password successfully, we want to go to next. And after a moment, we should be greeted with the screen who will be using this device. If you're not planning to play around with the family link and basically the whole parental control option, I would not advise you to hit my child will be using this device, but instead just go with I will be using this device. Go to next. Click I agree. Now Google Services will think for a moment, and after that you should be good to go. Unless there are still more options to go. We can enable backup the device data. We can keep that disabled though. I would advise you to keep that enabled if you are a normal user. I will hit accept, and now we are successfully logged into our account. And if you want to remove it, we have to scroll down a little. Okay, not scroll down a little. I screwed up once again. We have to just go right here at the top and click our account. Now we can click manage accounts on this device. We can hit for test only, and now we can hit remove account in order to remove our account. And now, that's the end of this video. If you found it useful, please remember to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching!
Hello everybody, welcome back to HardReset.Info channel. In today's video, I'll show you the camera test of the Google Pixel 9a. So without further ado, let's get started. So now, as you guys can see, here we have the phone, and here, after we enter the photos and go to collections, here we have everything that we need. Starting with the indoors one, here, as you guys can see, we can see every single detail. And I'm not over exaggerating, this camera is very good. Now, the next one, going into the 1X camera, as you guys can see, the picture looks just like this. It has a lot of quality, and you can see everything that's going on the screen. So now, going up to 1.5 camera, it's a little closer, still quality remains good, and we can see everything, as you guys can see, even the grass, the dirt. It looks awesome. Now, moving on to the 3X camera, as you guys can see here, it's much closer now. The quality is still here, but it's getting worse. Now, as you guys can see, it's not getting worse here, but on this tree that was very much behind. So, as you guys can see, this phone is very good. Now, let's go to the long exposure one. As you guys can see, it looks just like this. It's very bright. It has a lot of details. You can clearly see all the dirt and the grass. Now, what we need to check is the stabilization video. So, as you guys can see, it looks pretty okay. But now, let me take another one and show you guys how it works. So first, we're gonna go to the video section, go here and enable the video stabilization. Now, let me quickly take the phone here and let me show you guys how it's being tested. So now we're gonna stop the recording and we're gonna go back to the camera here. Let me show you guys how it works. Give me a second because I need to mute the device. Okay, so this is how it looks like. The stabilization is definitely here, but it's not as visible as it was on the recording I showed you here. So yeah, it looks pretty okay. Even though the stabilization is not that much visible, it's still here and it works perfectly fine. So moving on to the night side, as you guys can see, I took a night side picture when it was very bright outside. So all it did was increase the brightness in some places. It still looks okay though. And here I took it under the desk. It was very dark here. And as you guys can see, now it's very bright. Here we can also see the quality because we can see the screws. It just looks magnificent. So now, moving on from the night side, here we will have the 8X, which is the max for this camera. Now, as you guys can see, here we have it. The quality is pretty okay, but still, it's not good right now. As you guys can see, the quality is definitely here, but it's not as good as it was. Now here, what else we have is the portrait. Here, I took a picture on the 3X portrait, as you guys can see. Let me lower the brightness for y'all so you can see it much clearly. It looks just like this. It looks pretty okay. Now here we have another picture. We can see all the details here, as you guys can see. Even the little leaf here. It looks awesome. Now, as you guys can see, here we have two more. This is this little flower or grass, whatever you call it. Looks pretty okay. And here, we're back. Here, it looks pretty okay. And let me take a quick picture to show you guys that it looks like that. And as you guys can see, let me do just this. And here we have the picture. It looks amazing. As you guys can see, we can see all the details here. It's just perfect. For $500, this phone is very good. So now, let's switch over from the portrait to the 0.5 camera. Nowadays, this camera is being used very often, so I think it actually matters what quality is here. As you guys can see, the close-up quality is very good, but after we, let's say, scroll here, the quality is getting worse. So it only works good right here, close up to the phone. So now let's go over here. As you guys can see here, we have a lot of terrain. There's nothing close to the phone, so the quality is only good when we're not scrolling in. Now this quality is getting much worse, but we cannot expect miracles from the 0.5 camera. Now let's go over to the panoramic pictures. As you guys can see, here we have one. Let me do just that. As you guys can see, it looks pretty good. Now let me show you the other one. The other one was pretty bad, as you guys can see. But it's not the phone's fault, it's actually my fault, because this picture was not a great one. And that would be it. For the price of $499, I think this phone is very good and the camera is even better. As you guys can see, it's very good in hand. It fits perfectly because it's a 6.1 inch. It has an OLED display, 120 Hz. So it's smooth, the camera is good, and you also have a 12 megapixel rear camera here. So this phone is just perfect. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and see you on the Hard Reset channel. Bye.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Hard Reset channel. In today's video, I'll show you the top 10 hidden features you didn't know about on your Pixel 9a. So first, what you guys can try to do is use circle to search by going to settings. Now going to here system and going to navigation mode. Here you can use the 3-button navigation for it. You need to enable circle to search and basically hold the circle here. As you guys can see, now we can basically draw a circle around it, and as you guys can see, it will find something similar in the internet. You can also use the gesture navigation if you're not a fan of the 3-button navigation. So what you gotta do is basically hold this little line here. As you guys can see, it still works perfectly fine. And that would be it for the first one. Now the second one is the now playing option. So we need to go to settings. Here we need to go to display and touch. Now go over to the lock screen. And here you have in the shortcuts category, here you have now playing. Here you have identify songs playing nearby. You can disable or enable it. You can also enable the button on the lock screen. And here you can check your now playing history. So if you find a song and you don't know the title, but you hear it, then you can basically use it. Now the next thing is the add me in group photos. So what you guys need to do is basically go over to your camera app. Now go over to add me. And as you guys can see, here you have a perfect example of how it works. Basically, it will try and combine two photos. It works the best with a tripod or something that can hold your phone in one position, for example like that, without shaking, without doing anything. So it's pretty cool. And now what we have next is the palm timer for the selfie camera. So as you guys can see, what we need to do is go over to photo. Now we need to use this camera and we need to go to settings, more settings, and here we have the palm timer. As you guys can see, we can take a selfie from a distance by just showing our palm and it will start a 3-second timer. So let me show you guys how it works. We basically need to use our palm just like that. And as you guys can see, here we have the timer. So that's pretty cool. Now the next thing we have is the zoom enhance, and it's basically after we take a photo. So here, let me show you, let me use the maximum 8x zoom. Now as you guys can see, I'll show you how it works. You need to notice the details pretty fast because and as you guys can see, now it's after the processing. It's much lighter, much brighter, and it looks just like this. You can see every detail. Now the next thing is live translate. So let me go over to settings and now go over to system. Oh sorry, it's right here. And here we have live translate. As you guys can see here, we can add a language. We can download every single one. And then we can use it to detect our conversations. So we can use it if we don't understand the language in, let's say, another country. And this is the only way you can talk to other people, understand them, and much more. So the next thing is adaptive charging. It's a pretty cool feature for your battery. So go over to settings. Now go to battery. And here, as you guys can see, here we have charging optimization. Now here we have adaptive charging, so it will normally finish to 100% right before we need to unplug the phone. So it's pretty cool. Now the next one is limit to 80%, so it will only charge to 80% battery, and it will basically extend our battery lifespan because it's not a full cycle. It's probably about 60 to 50%, depends on how you charge the phone. And that makes it a pretty cool feature. Now the next thing is the enhanced app grid. So as you guys can see, now we have 4x5. And after we go to settings, now we need to go to wallpaper and style right here. Go over to home screen and now scroll down. Here we will have the app grid. As you guys can see, we can change it to 5x5. And now the icons are smaller. We can also try and use it for something else like 2x2. It looks pretty funny, as you guys can see. And that's basically it. Now the next thing is digital well-being tools. Basically an app limiter if the phone is for a child, let's say. So basically go over to settings. Now what we need to do is scroll down until we see digital well-being and parental controls. Click it, and as you guys can see, here we have everything. Now here we have app limits, let's say Call of Duty. Now click on app timer, and as you guys can see, we can set it for, let's say, 2 hours, and it will reset at midnight. So we can only use this app 2 hours in a day. Now here you also have a bedtime and much more. Let me show you guys. Here we have the bedtime mode, and here we have the focus mode. Now here you can select all the distracting apps and basically do that. Here we have much more like notifications, do not disturb, and many more options. And last but not least, we have the quick tap gestures. So let me go over to settings right back here, and now let me go over to system. Now here we need to go to gestures, and here we have the quick tap to start actions. Now we can enable it, and as you guys can see, we can basically take a screenshot, access our digital assistant, play or pause media, see recent apps, and much more. Now here, I'll select the Open App Calculator. Here you can also require stronger taps if you don't want to open anything here by mistake. So let me show you guys. Basically, when we're here and we tap twice, it should work. As you guys can see, it says quick tap detected. Now let me try on tapping, and as you guys can see, now the calculator is open. We can try everything here, and that's pretty cool. So that would be it for all the top 10 hidden features on your phone. So if this video was fun or anything, then let me know in the comments, like, subscribe, and see you in the next one. Bye.
Welcome. In front of me I have the Google Pixel 9a, and today I'll show you a couple tweaks and the tricks you can do on this phone. So anyway, let's just get straight into it. Now we're gonna pull down our notifications and then navigate into the settings, and in here let's first navigate to display and touch. So in here we have a couple of options. Scrolling, we have the dark mode. Now it is enabled, I think, by default. We can click right here. We can also turn it off, obviously, if you want to have light mode. If that's something that you prefer, go right ahead. But you do have the other option, which is, I would say, a little bit more useful, which is the schedule mode. Now when you click on it, it gives you two options: custom time or sunset to sunrise. And what this means is that whichever one you choose, the device will now switch between light and dark mode on its own. And on its own, it would switch either with a schedule from, well, it would run from 10 p.m. it would switch to dark mode, and then at 6 a.m. it would switch back to light mode. Or the other option would be obviously sunset to sunrise, which presumably would have about similar times, though they might be a little bit more tailored to your location and when, like, you actually have sunrise, for instance. Now going a little bit further down, in the display and touch, we have the navigation mode, and here we have the gesture navigation and button navigation. You can use either one, whichever one you prefer. I do like gestures, so that's what we're gonna stick with, and I think this is actually also the default option, but you also have the options for both of them. So for instance, for gestures, we also have the option to enable the Google Assistant. So if you have ever seen this, you just kind of do this, swipe from a corner, and it redirects me to the page because I didn't set it up yet. Obviously without this off, it just goes home. Now this is one way that you can launch it. The other way would be still to basically use the power button, hold it, and this will also get you to Gemini. And on the three buttons, we don't have actually any settings for some reason. Okay. And additionally, you do have the circle to search. So if you never use this, it's basically this option right here. So you do hold the home button right here to first activate it. Now without this, you can see holding it doesn't do anything anymore. I personally like this, so I'm going to keep it on anyway. Now, scrolling further down, we have the colors. Here you can choose the saturation of your display. We have the native, natural, and adaptive. And the natural is just a bit more desaturated. Adaptive has a little bit more color to it. Now, the big difference, by the looks of it, is primarily in the green colors and also in the blue. You can see the sky starts to look very washed out. Here, it's not as big of a difference with the more red tones. So primarily blue and green is the one that is going to be changed drastically, I would say. Now, we also have the touch sensitivity. This might be a great option for you to explore if, for instance, you use gloves, maybe during winter. So this could be very useful to you, but all in all, just wanted to point it out. Now, actually there was the last option in here, which is the smooth display. For some reason, Google decided to opt into this kind of weird look. So smooth display basically means that it automatically raises the refresh rate up to 120 Hz for some content, increasing battery usage. Now, without this, it would mean that the display is running at 60 frames max. So having this gives you the nice battery smooth motion. Now on the camera this might not be as visible, but boy oh boy is it actually visible to me in person. So switching that off just makes it look stupidly choppy. Switching it on just starts to look nice, buttery smooth. Now if you don't see a difference between these two options with how the display kind of looks when you're scrolling, then you might want to actually turn that off. It will get you better battery life, as 120 will increase the battery usage, as it even states right here. Now if we go back and move over to wallpaper and style, here we have options to customize the look and feel of our device. And we have two options, lock screen and home screen, so you can choose whichever one you want. We have the accent colors, wallpapers, and we have also more. And by scrolling down we also have upgrade, so you can cram in more applications on your home screen. There we go. And we have the color contrast. This is some new option which started showing up. So it changes the way some of the buttons, what the colors are and how vibrant they are. So you can see some things will start to look a bit different. So for instance, by default this, let me see. So all of this is kind of gray. Now on camera it might look a little bit darker to you, closer to black, but this is gray background. So by changing the contrast, you can see that the gray background starts to look much more bright. So it's starting to approach more towards like white background. And also the buttons right here change the color quite drastically. As you can see, the difference here is specifically like in the client thing quite visible. So if you have trouble seeing some things or differentiating it, you might want to change this. We also have the high contrast text, though it seems to have no effect. Yeah, I barely can tell any difference. Okay, so by the default one, high contrast text actually just starts to pop out way more. So it looks like with it off, this is the default option, the text is a little bit closer to the gray, so it blends a little bit more and it's easier on the eyes. With the high contrast, that the text is just straight white, so it is starting to pop a bit more, specifically in context with the dark background. So obviously if you have some kind of visual impairments, this might be a very useful option for you to see the text a bit better and easier, so I'd recommend checking it out. Now going back to the lock screen, we have actual options to customize our lock screen right here with things like the clock themes right here, so you can swipe through them, pick whichever one you like. Accent color, so this changes partially the clock, which there we go, you can see right here in that one of the handles, and there we go, also numbers. And this applies to basically most clocks right here. You can see that all of them gets kind of changed. So not much is changing right here at the moment outside of just the so it looks like right now it's primarily changing only the colors of the clock, but there are other elements that you can add. For instance, maybe these buttons that you have right here that would be changing. They actually are added by default or not. So when you have these buttons, which for some reason I need to install an app. How about this? Oh, it's device control, that's why. Okay, so there we go. We have one button and let's see how that looks like. Does it change the color? Nope, it's also just kind of gray and blend. So it looks like it doesn't actually change it. But yeah, anyway, let's quickly take a look. We have show notifications on the lock screen here as well, and more lock screen options. So here we have a bunch more options for just a strictly lock screen. Some of them being privacy notice, like the notifications and how they're being displayed. So this is one of the options that I think you usually have pop up when you're setting up a screen lock. So you can choose how the notifications will be displayed on your lock screen, and that implies these ones. So if you want total privacy, you might want to change this to, for instance, don't show notifications at all. So here you can see they completely disappear. It also gives you a nice clean look for your home screen, or you can change to the other one where it just shows you the app that gives you the notification, but nothing else. And to see the notification, you need to unlock the device. So there we go. So anyway, this almost sums it up. There is one last thing that I wanted to add, which is also located in the lock screen right here. So we have now playing. Now this is also under sound, I believe. So what this is basically a Shazam, but from Google. And this one works permanently in the background, listening to all the music that is playing around. So if we enable this, it will need to, let's add it to home screen. It will need to download the songs database. So this only takes a couple of seconds. And once I have done so, let's see. If I go back and reopen it, I think it will be done. Or I don't have internet connection. Nope, I do. So it should be downloading. Now, while this is downloading, I'm going to open up on my phone some kind of, let's do Crabrave, for instance. Okay, so while this is ready, let's see. Is it done downloading it? Come on. There we go. So it's now finished downloading it. And now if I lock the device, so you can faintly hear the music probably. And it gives you the name for the song. Now, once it basically detects the song and give you the name while it's playing, later on if the music obviously stops, I want to point that out, this will disappear. But your device will automatically save this song to the now playing. Now this is, now it adds a option to add a application to your home screen as a shortcut. But you can also find this by going into the settings. So you don't need to have a shortcut. You can just kind of go in here and I believe it should be sound and vibration and now playing history. And here you have all the songs that it has scrubbed through when you are going about your daily life. So there we go. This is one of the nicer options that I really like, as it just removes the need for you to identify any kind of songs. It just does it naturally, which is pretty nice. But anyway, with that being said, hope you found this very helpful, and if you did, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.
Hello and welcome back to HardReset.Info. In this video I will show you how to extend your battery life on Google Pixel 9a. And let's begin! I'm not going to show you some basic things like guys, go into the settings, then go into the battery, and then go into the battery and just enable battery saver, because that is something that is really obvious and just dumb. I mean, you could do that, like I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that, because we can just do that now, and it will save us battery. But I want to go through each process and how to improve your battery life without battery saver, so you can have a better understanding on what's taking your battery life and what is not. Starting with the most visible difference, and is that when we use battery saver, then our theme gets changed automatically to a darker one. Why is that? Well, it's because most of the phones nowadays are using OLED screens, meaning that they need more power in order to show us white pixels, and they actually take less power to showcase us black pixels. And obviously we can just go here into the settings, into the display and touch, and here we have dark theme, which we can just enable right now. And obviously you can see that now we have a much better ratio of dark pixels versus white pixels than we had before. So naturally our battery should last longer even with that simple trick. Because the screen is almost always on, and it's one of the things that drains the most of the battery. However, it is still not enough, because we can go and disable the schedule, so it's always dark theme. Though for the purpose of this video, I will switch to a light theme, so you can just guys see better on the tutorial itself. Speaking of the screen itself and staying on that topic, we can also lower the brightness level, because having the bright screen just like that is maybe not unhelpful, like I don't want to say it's bad, but for your battery it's pretty bad. And unless you're not using your phone that much outside, for example, then I would advise you to just keep the brightness level relatively low, so your screen won't need that much power to show itself. And then lastly, I want to mention that you could just always disable adaptive brightness, just like that, even though that it is a very nice option, and especially when you're, for example, going outside and you need to quickly use your phone, then it will automatically bump up the brightness. It is a really nice feature, though most of the time, at least for me, it is not useful and it is not needed, because I can just, bump up the brightness myself, meaning that I have less control of the brightness levels themselves, meaning that most of the time it's higher than I want it to be, meaning that the battery gets more usage. So we can just manually change it to something else. I will keep it below 60 so you guys can see something on the camera, and I can easily do that. And lastly, we can change screen timeout, because currently if I would, for example, someone yelled at me, like a room next to me, and I need to rush there and I forget about the work, forget about the phone, then my phone will turn itself off after 30 minutes of inactivity. That means 30 minutes of your screen being on. This is just unacceptable, and most of people don't need 30 minutes of screen timeout, so you generally want to keep that number low. I would advise you something below 2 minutes, or maybe even 1 minute. I will leave for 2 minutes just because I'm recording this tutorial right now, but most of people will just be good enough with 1 minute screen timeout, so it won't require as much energy whenever we lose, well, not lose, but whenever we leave our phone unattended, This is incredibly important. Then, leaving the whole screen options, we can go into something very simple, that is a wallpaper. Currently we have this nice earth wallpaper, though if you look closer you will see that these lights are moving and the whole wallpaper is... Well, maybe you can't really see that here, but I can do that. And as you can see, yeah, it is a real earth, and it is basically changing and evolving. I'm pretty sure depending on your hour, it will basically move the whole earth around. And when you switch the screens, it will also move it. These wallpapers, it's called live wallpapers, and the live wallpapers are really cool. I agree. However, there is one simple issue with those, and it's that they waste a lot of your battery. It's basically always playing video that's on repeat. Well, it's a GIF most of the time, but if we're talking about this specific wallpaper, then it's just the earth moving around and being rendered at all the time, which, as you can guess, takes a lot of your battery. So I would advise you to go to the settings, leave the display now, go to wallpaper and style, and in the wallpaper and style we can go to more wallpapers, and you can change to something very simple. We can go through something here, which is basically automatic built-in by default wallpapers. I will go with solid colors, and I will choose this. And as you can see, it's just pitch black. If you paid attention when I spoke about the dark theme, then you will know that our phone requires less energy to display black pixels than it is to require to display white pixels. So not only that having a simple wallpaper will just improve our battery life, even a simple wallpaper really, but having a darker wallpaper will also improve the longevity of our battery. And many people just don't know that and think, oh, it's just wallpaper, how much could it possibly need? And turns out, especially that if you're using an live wallpaper, that it will use a lot of that battery. Going next, we have something very simple, and it's just Bluetooth, the internet, the mobile data, and all of that. Many people are just not aware that all of these services also tend to use a lot of your battery, especially if you're using them, but also when you're not using them. For example, I currently have Bluetooth on, even though I don't really have anything Bluetooth connected. I don't have any kinds of headphones, any kind of microphone, anything. It's just Bluetooth that is on, and I could just do that and do this, and now I just saved a little bit of my battery, and overall I've improved its life, and it will run for longer. Why? Because having Bluetooth on is basically telling it to, hey, just in case, keep scanning nearby devices. Maybe one of my devices will go online and will want to connect to you, okay? So whenever I will have Bluetooth enabled, just like that. Oh, we can actually, I didn't even know we could automatically turn on tomorrow. That's pretty interesting. But if I will just go and enable Bluetooth, then I will tell him to keep looking just in case, meaning that just in case it will use a lot of our battery. The same thing goes with internet, and more importantly, mobile data, which will just use incredibly much, and not only your mobile data, but also the battery, because it will require you to play and sustain itself in the background. And the same things go for things like, for example, quick share, and it's currently hidden anyway because we turned off our Bluetooth, but it will also waste a lot of your battery. And also the hotspot, anything that is related to your mobile data, and basically any kind of service will waste your battery. And you can do a very simple trick, a very quick trick, and that is to just, whenever you're not using any of those, whenever you don't need Wi-Fi or other than that, you can just enable airplane mode. And then every single connection, every single wireless connection will be automatically turned off, which is incredibly helpful for saving your battery life. And then I want to go into other topic, which is permissions. Currently we have airplane mode, which disables all kinds of connections that are wireless. However, we can go to the settings, we can scroll down a little and find security and privacy. In here, you can make sure in the privacy controls and permission manager that none of our applications are, for example, using our camera all the time, using our location all the time, a microphone, and that's the basically golden free of wasting your battery, to be honest, because camera, microphone, and location are one of the most power-hungry permissions, because obviously camera requires a lot of energy to work. Same goes with location, which will just automatically gather a lot of data, and same things goes with microphone. So we can just check each and every application. Though currently the camera is blocked, so we can just unlock it. Though having it locked is also pretty cool. The same thing goes with mic. We can see that luckily no apps are allowed to use our camera all the time, which is good. Then we can check our location. As you can see, location isn't that great, because we have few things that have access to it all the time. Joe, I can already tell you that these three, the Android System Intelligence, Google, and Personal Safety, need the location anyway. We could obviously, click the Google and, for example, make it so it will only use our location while we use something Google related. Though it still will show us a warning that we are basically denying this permission. So basic features of my device may no longer function as intended. And it's extra bad because we are using a Google phone, like Google Pixel, So having Google on and working is something important to us. However, for example, we can switch the weather off. So for example, we can easily switch the weather from allow all the time to only while using the app. and we can ignore this because I'm pretty sure every single application will throw us this warning that we can still use the weather from our location whenever we just go into the weather application. I'm guessing that it wants to have the location all the time, just in case you have, for example, a widget on your home screen or something like that. It's pretty simple, but still it will save a little bit of your battery. And lastly, we have the microphone. And as you can see, luckily no apps are allowed to use the microphone all the time. However, it's a little lie in reality, because there is one thing, maybe there's more, but I know about one thing, that have access to your phone if you have it enabled, and that is a Google Assistant, and more specifically, it's a keyword from Google Assistant. We can easily check those if we go into the tab, go Google Services, switch to All Services, and scroll down, and we should see right under Settings for Google Apps, Search, Assistant and Voice. Here we have other things. For example, we have the voice, which will basically, well, this is not important. We can only see our offline speech recognition, which still needs to be downloaded. However, if we go to the Google Assistant, which we can't because we have Wi-Fi disabled, so we can enable our Wi-Fi here. Let's try again. Oh my god. Now we can go into voice match, and we want to make sure that our Hey Google is disabled. If it's enabled, then basically Google Assistant will always listen. By always, I mean it will always listen for any kind of input from you, for any kind of Google or Hey Google or anything similar to it. It will listen, it will use your microphone, and therefore it will use your battery. It's something incredibly important, and especially if you're not using Google Assistant at all. And lastly, the more general tip, and like it's not something you can disable or enable, but it's just to, from time to time, go into the settings, go into your battery, and just scroll down a little, and basically go to battery usage. In the battery usage, you can see exactly which applications are using the most of your battery. As you can see, currently it's the camera because it's been on for quite a long time. But if you're using something like TikTok, for example, and you see that, hey, I spent 3 hours a day on it and it's wasting half of my battery, then you know that something is wrong. So we can go into this camera, for example. We can go into the background time, I believe. No, it's not the background time. The camera is unfortunately whitelisted. We cannot disable the background usage because it requires unrestricted battery usage. However, if we go to something else, for example, our Chrome, we can see that, well, let's just say that this is my TikTok, this wastes out of my battery. I can always disallow my background usage, or if it doesn't help, if it's not helping, we can just go and disable this application. And as a last resort option, we can just go into the apps, which are, oh, I missed them, which are right here. We can just see all 55 apps. And for example, speaking of Chrome, well, Chrome is not sadly uninstallable, but other applications are easily uninstallable. So instead of disabling it, we can just uninstall them from our device completely. Anyway, that is all from this video. Remember, the last tip is to just be generally aware how much applications are using your power. If you use a lot of big applications, like a lot of games, a lot of social media that requires a lot of data, then your battery just won't live long enough, So the most important tip is to just be aware what you're using and how you're using your device. Anyway, now that's all for this video. If you found it useful, please remember to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.